All right, what's up, everybody? Really excited to bring you this episode of Angles. I had the unique opportunity of sitting down with Brenda Turteltaub Feldstein. She is unbelievable. She's a documentary filmmaker from Brazil, but lives right here in Buffalo, working on an amazing project with JoAnn Falletta from the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra. If anyone knows JoAnn, she's unbelievable, one of the best maestros of all time. And the documentary is called Love Letters to Music. This is the book it's based on. We talked about everything. We talked about her process. We talked about how she fell in love with storytelling. We talked a lot about the BPO, about JoAnn. It was really insightful, and she has such a great energy and passion. It's really infectious. I think you guys are going to love it. And I'd be remiss if I didn't remind everybody, this episode is brought to you by Richmond Vona Personal Injury Attorneys. When the unexpected happens, expect Richmond Vona. Yes, it's my law firm, but huge thank you to them, because that's how we're able to bring you these stories. I hope you enjoy. What's up?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Nice to be here. It's a beautiful space.
Thank you. I'm actually very excited to talk to you.
Thank you.
I really am. So I've always been obsessed with documentaries, like my whole life. I feel like I've learned so much from them. And I was obviously doing a lot of research on you before you came on. And when Brett brought me the idea of bringing you on, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I'm so excited. Because I've looked at a lot, but I'm very curious. Were you always a storyteller?
Yes. Well, I think when I knew exactly that I wanted to be a documentarian was on my first year of college, because I was working to pay for my education. So I got a job in a video production company.
Yeah.
And I was having documentary classes, and I knew right then this is what I wanted to do. It took me years to be able to do that, but I knew that moment that, that was the only thing I wanted to do.
Well, what was it? What was it about it?
For me, there are different types of documentaries, right? It could be science, it could be biographies, but for me, it was the human-centered. I'm fascinated by people. I'm very curious. I'd love to sit in a park and look at people passing by, and I'm thinking, who are they? What is their story? I find it fascinating to this day, every single time.
I used to do it all the time. I lived in New York City for like 10 years.
Yeah, that's the best.
I used to sit in Washington Square Park and just look at people, because everyone has their story and you just have no idea what it is.
No idea. It's fascinating, So it's I take a lot of pleasure from that.
So you're in college and you're learning about it, and that's like that must be like that. What an amazing moment, because I think a lot of people struggle with finding that thing that's like, wow, oh my gosh, I want to do this. Was it did you immediately just start exploring how you could, go down that path, or did it take longer to kind of get to where, obviously we're going to talk about what you're working on now, but how did that materialize?
So, well, I knew that was my biggest passion. One day I thought I wanted to do documentaries, and it has to be about people, right? But you know how life is. Not everything comes that naturally. But I did get a job in a video production company. It was very fulfilling. It wasn't documentary necessarily, but I was working. I was interviewing people. I was, writing scripts. So that's how the base came. But then, it only took me, 15 years to be able to do something like that. But, I was able to do it. So.
Were there times maybe in that 15-year journey where you thought, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, or so there were setbacks?
Yes, because, after I finished school, I came to the U.S. to study English, thinking, oh, that's going to help me. The language, will make me a more rounded person. But, I ended up meeting my husband and, moving to the United States. And I came to Buffalo at the time. And there was no field for me at that time. It was basically impossible for me to be doing my work as a reporter, as a filmmaker. So I got an MBA at UB, and I opened a retail shop on Main Street. Cool. It was a clothing shop. It was amazing. It was called Fofa Brazil, and I used to import jeans from Brazil. So for many years, I had I wasn't working with documentary filmmaking. I was a business owner. Yeah. And just a few years later, when us filmmakers were able to buy cameras and do the editing from our computers, I thought, you know what? I'm going back to that because it's my passion, and I did.
That's actually interesting. So I didn't even think about that. like prior to like, I guess like computers and all the software and technology now, there probably needed to be a lot more people, or you need a different kind of skill set to even attempt to try to get involved in it.
Well, so when I started, it was, you couldn't do it on your own.
Yeah.
You needed to work for an organization. Things were extremely expensive. The cameras, the editing system, the non-linear system, and Brett knows that.
Yeah, you know. I know we talk about that.
So you didn't have access to that. A camera will cost $30,000. I know it was impossible.
Yeah.
But then it became accessible, and you were able to create things on your own, and you didn't need to be employed by a production company. You could create your own, which this is what I did.
That's interesting. Like, think about all the stories that were never told just because people didn't have the ability or the means to tell them.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of now that people can grab their camera and edit their stories and tell that there's a lot of amazing things in it. There's a lot of garbage too. But
I was thinking that too. Not everybody should be doing this.
It's good. It's the democracy of this,
For
so
sure.
I think it's great that we had this revolution.
So I'd love to hear a little bit about, life growing up in Brazil. And I'm interested to hear like how, your childhood maybe formed like the way you think about things, the way you approach your filmmaking, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think my childhood was very unique in the sense that, and I think that's where my interest for people came from, because half of my family came from Poland. They were Holocaust survivors, so I've grown up with tons of stories.
Oh, wow.
The other half, Brazilian Catholic. So growing up, I had a very diverse childhood. And Brazil is very culturally interesting and diverse, too. So I had Christmas, and I had Hanukkah, I had Easter, and I had, Passover. And we celebrated everything, and we were very integrated. So for me, I think I had an experience to really be inserted in a situation that I was able to see so many people doing different things. I wasn't in a bubble. And I think that probably contributed to my, interest in people.
Yeah, exposed to a lot.
Yeah.
That is really cool. And how did you, I know you ended up coming to the US, but like what was that like, and why did you make that decision to come here?
So I had finished my journalism school, and I said, let me take a break, and I came to Florida to study English, basically, to fine-tune my skills, because I thought that was very important in my profession to be able to work everywhere.
Yeah,
English
for
is,
sure.
the language that you need to know. So that's what happened. Pretty simple, but,
And then you somehow end up in Buffalo.
I somehow ended up in Buffalo. That's correct. Yeah, which I love, by the way. Yeah, I love Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm actually always like, so I grew up in Rochester, like an hour away.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
But I lived in New York City for about 10 years, like
Right.
Brett did, and then before I moved up here. And I think it is when you live someplace else, or especially if you're from someplace else, you obviously have a different perspective, but I think sometimes it can actually help you appreciate Buffalo more than maybe people who've been here forever.
Yes, for sure.
Do you agree with that?
For sure. I remember when I came to Buffalo, and first of all, I was living in Chicago at the time, and I said, I'm getting married, I'm moving to Buffalo. 100% of the reactions were negative. Not one person said, wow, that's it was awful. And I was like, why? I got here, it was summertime. I thought it was the most beautiful place on earth that I couldn't understand. And when I opened my store, people would come, that was in early 2000s, and say, what are you doing here? Buffalo is not a good place, you're crazy. And I never understood that, because I thought Buffalo, he has problems, and, he was coming from a difficult financial times, and it's not perfect, but I appreciated I appreciated where I was living and the safety and some opportunities, and but now there is people are more excited about Buffalo than the early 2000s, but I never understood that.
Oh, when I was getting ready to move here from New York, like I always secretly had the idea, like I'm gonna go to Buffalo, kind of get the lay of the land, start my own law firm, but like all my friends in New York looked at me as if like I was failing or like I had given up. And I'm like, guys, like there's a ton of opportunity there. I think Buffalo is great. And I think, like, again, we were talking before we started, filming. I was like, that's why we started the podcast. Like there's so many amazing people in Buffalo, so many great stories to tell. I mean, as you know better than me. And it's, I love that like Buffalo's on the up and up. And yeah, you're right. Like no place is perfect though. And like, I think especially if you've lived here your whole life, it's hard to understand that, for the lack of a better term, I guess, like the grass isn't always greener. Like
Right.
in bigger cities, there's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
you have to deal with that like we don't deal with here that we just take for granted.
Yeah, and I think Buffalo, the people are very special here.
Yeah.
It's truly a community.
Yeah.
People care about each other.
Yeah.
Even like when you go to Wegmans, they give you their shopping cart.
Yeah.
They did it for me the first time. I was like, wow, they're so nice. You know?
Yeah, there's strings attached to this.
There
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's a true community.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously you're working on a huge project right now.
Yes.
Love letters. Love letters
To music.
To music, right? And
Love
you got the book.
letters to-
You got the book,
I
right?
brought a book. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was looking because I know your company's called A Special Story, and I'm like, I'm
Right.
pretty sure it's Love Letters to Music.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
love to hear. I mean, I was doing some research. I mean, I've always thought JoAnn Falletta is like unbelievable. I
Yeah.
mean, she's iconic, really, especially
Really.
in the space. How did this happen?
I'll tell you a story.
Yes, perfect.
So I never had music education in Brazil. So when I got here to the States, my kids started going to public schools
Yeah.
and they got music education. One day my son came to me in high school and he said, Brenda, Mom, the BPO has a student pass, it's $30 a year. We can go to as many concerts as possible. And I'm
Wow.
like, okay, that's a great deal.
Yeah.
So I started taking him and taking friends. And I fell in love. I truly fell in love. It was like stepping in a world that was magical to me. And making a long story short, that led to an invitation to join the board.
Oh, wow.
And I got to know JoAnn a little bit better. So one day I was doing some work for them. You know, I was volunteering. They were doing a campaign, and they needed to record some videos. So I was getting JoAnn to say thank you, some musicians doing an appeal, the chair campaign, John Richmond and Carolyn, they were chairing this campaign. And I remember looking at JoAnn, looking for a place for her to do my interview, and she started speaking. And I was thinking, I would love to do a documentary about her. It's so beautiful to hear her speaking. She's so inspirational. So that moment, and then I said, JoAnn, I would love to do a documentary about you. And she said, oh, okay. And I froze. I'm like, okay. She said, okay, what am I going to do now? Because that's huge. For me, it was a huge thing.
That is
you know?
huge. Yeah.
So then that took me to doing a small documentary about her in 24 hours for a competition. And that led to the idea of working on a feature documentary with her.
Yeah, I watched it. It's like a 6-minute short, right?
Right.
And you won a New York Emmy for it, didn't you?
I did.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
amazing. Thank you so much. It was incredible.
You know, because it's funny because I was going to ask you because I feel like, I don't know, I'm guessing you're going to agree with this, but you tell me. But to get the most out of, like, especially because you're doing documentaries on people, the subject, the person has to really trust you.
Yes.
Right? And I was wondering, because I always, people of that stature, like the way, how respected she is, like internationally, I would think maybe would be a little bit guarded, like about, maybe like having, their life put out there like that. But I mean, I guess it's a testament to you. You must have earned her trust pretty quickly, or maybe over the time when you were on the board, and for her to say yes so quickly, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was very special. I think people can tell when you're authentic and you mean well, so she probably could tell that. And I've been filming with her for the past 14 months.
Wow.
And I would say at first, yeah, she, probably was more guarded. She's been doing this for many years.
Yeah.
She's very media savvy for sure.
Yeah.
And I think over time, you develop a relationship. So yeah, I feel she trusts me, and I was able to get beautiful passages from her.
Yeah, you can find the 6-minute short at least on your website, A Special Story website, and it's really good. I mean, you have a couple others on there too that are really good.
Thank you.
What's the process like, working on this? Because you just said you've been working on it for 14 months. I mean, we, as like, or myself, I watch a documentary that comes out, and like I told you before, like I'm obsessed with them,
Yeah.
all different types. But I've never been behind the camera. I don't see what goes into it. I got to imagine there's just so much that goes into it. And then and filming for her with her, she's so busy and like finding times to put it all together, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, she's my idol. I love her so much. I do follow a process, In this case, it's more complicated because I'm not telling a chronological story.
Yeah.
It's a mosaic,
Okay.
right? So I have past, I have present,
Oh, wow.
and I'm weaving that. So I think it's complicated from the storytelling standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But every single film that I do, I plan as much as I can. Because in the past, in the beginning, I used to film, and then I used to sit down in the editing and say, now what? How am I going to put it? But now I know exactly, as much as I can, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I follow a process. I come up with story keywords for the project I want to accomplish. So I answer a few questions. What is inspiring about this person? What is unique? Who is my audience? What I want the audience to feel? What I want the audience to do? Then, that is my purpose. So when I find the words that are defining my project, so I know the direction I'm going, right? For JoAnn, for instance, I have words such as trailblazer, quiet leadership, curiosity, things like that. Then I do, a lot of pre-interviews with people in the story space. I need to find the strongest angles, and so I go on Zoom and I call people from all aspects of the story, and then I attempt to put a script together.
Huh.
Right, so
Yeah.
I know what I want to cover. So I plan as much as I can. Sometimes when you're working in real time, of course you cannot predict what's going to happen.
Right.
But you have an idea because I planned before. It's not everything is unexpected. A few things I do have control over, and this is what I'm doing with this documentary. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because I was always thinking like that process must be so important.
Very.
Because if you don't
yeah.
have one, I mean, you don't meticulously go and like talk to everybody or as best, obviously doing the best you can. I mean, that you could start shooting and that thing would just go sideways. And when somebody
100%.
says one thing that like you didn't expect, and you're
Yes.
like, well, that just threw off like the whole story.
Yes, it happens all the time, and I talk to filmmakers all the time. A lot of people don't follow a process. They film. It's pretty common. And
wow.
then you sit down and say, how am I going to, But I don't like that. I want to have some control. But I want to let the story happen as well. I don't want to tell what's going to happen. But, yeah, a few things you do have control, and planning can help you get the best story possible.
Yeah. I'm a big planner, so I would have to do that.
Yeah.
I would freak out if I just filmed a bunch of stuff and I had to try to string it all together.
It's overwhelming. It's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yes.
So working, so closely now with JoAnn, I got to imagine the BPO just in general has really embraced you and probably allowed you a lot of access.
100%. So I have to thank so many people. It definitely takes a village, but first of all, JoAnn for accepting to be, in this documentary and trusting me, number one. The whole BPO community, the leadership and the musicians, for sure. And other people in the community, my executive producer, John Richmond, the moment he heard that I was doing this documentary, he said, Brenda, what can I do to help you? I'm in.
Yeah.
And the Cullen Foundation, Jim Wadsworth. So I have a few people that right away came to support me, but I have my production team too. I have people that came on board when I had no guarantees. I had an idea. I said, I want to do a documentary. I don't have any funds yet, but don't worry, we'll be able to accomplish. And people came on board, the Pan American Film Production, Uplifter Video, and so many other people that believed in the project. So it definitely takes a village, and I have support of a lot of people, truly.
Yeah, the BPO, I mean, I think for those that aren't aware, I mean, it's known to, I guess, essentially punch above its weight class. Like
100%.
It's very, very well respected internationally. I don't think a lot of people, unless you really know a lot about the BPO, I don't think people realize that.
Yes, it's very well respected. We have JoAnn at the helm, but the musicians, they play at a very, very high level. We are a Grammy-winning orchestra, and we record CDs. For you to be able to record CDs, the quality has to be exceptional. And we have audiences all over the world. The music is being downloaded from many, many countries. It's just the reach is unbelievable. The quality is exceptional.
I think there's over 100 albums. Like that they've recorded. I read that someplace.
Is that maybe 100 tracks? I don't think
100
there's
tracks.
100
Okay, 100
albums.
tracks.
Yeah, no, I know that because I'm looking at
That would be a lot.
Underscoring for my
Yeah.
film. So I'm listening to all the CDs, but it's unbelievable. The quality is extremely, extremely high. Yes.
So when you started working with JoAnn, I mean, obviously you knew her already. I got to imagine you know her a lot better now.
Oh, yes.
What do you think are the things that, is there anything that you found surprising about her that maybe you didn't know before?
I always admired her leadership, and she's an inspirational leader. So yes, I always had this big admiration for her. But the word I use for JoAnn is quiet leadership. There are a lot of things that I was able to uncover, people that she supported, orchestras that she helped, that she doesn't come and say, oh, look what I'm doing, how great I am. And she's extraordinary, you know? So I think for me, that was not a beautiful surprise. I'm not surprised to see that she's such an incredible person, but it was just heartwarming and incredible to see how much she has done for people and orchestras. A lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you've probably been around a lot of leaders, both like, you know, just in your life and then, you know, through your work. I was going to ask you what her leadership style was, but that's interesting. Like the quiet leadership is very powerful.
Very powerful. And it's even more powerful now because we live in a world that is very noisy.
Yeah.
People are screaming from the top of their lungs. They're saying, look at me, look what I'm doing. And she doesn't do that. She consistently leads with empathy and, you know, it's all the time. People are coming to her. She's extremely busy, and she's helping everybody. You know, that comes. It's incredible the work that she does. She's an uplifter, for sure. She
seems like it.
Yes.
For people that don't know, and I think probably a lot of people won't know, what is? I mean, I got to imagine, like, obviously we always see people like leaders or like, you know, you see her like when they're performing, but there's got to be so much time and work she puts in between to be prepared for that moment. Because like you really can't get it wrong.
Yeah.
Like it's live. It's like people are paying a lot of money and they're really excited to be there. I got to imagine there's just so much preparation.
Yes, I mean, and it's something that I've learned during my, you know, filming the documentary. I had the same questions as most people because, as I said, I don't have a musical background, so I was very curious. And it takes a lot of studying. She has to study. The scores are obviously very, very complicated, very complex, and it's note by note. Wow. It's you know, she can't just open it. You know, you have to study, and she spends a lot of time studying. It requires dedication for sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, but I think dedication, you know, it sounds like, again, what we're talking about, like she has a process, she's dedicated. It's like, and that resonates a lot when I talk to people like yourself or other successful people. I think most people have figured out like their process, but then it involves a lot of self-discipline. And then there's a lot of failures along the way. Like, oh, that didn't work. Let's learn from that. Because I was thinking about this, you know, you're talking about your process, your ability to, you know, earn people's trust and then tell their story. I mean, but you go back and you were talking about a class you took in college. Like, how did you actually figure out your process? How did you figure out what works for you? Was it like taking more classes, just figuring out as you go? Because I think a lot of people struggle with that, is figuring out like the best way to approach a process and like their respective career paths.
You mean you were asking about the process of creating a film?
Yeah, like how did you figure that out? Like, yeah.
Well, I do a lot of learning, and I follow a lot of people that I admire. One of them is a filmmaker, the founder of Muse Storytelling. He has a process that I really like it. So I took a lot of inspiration. It's from Muse Storytelling, so this is something that has helped me a lot. And I do connect with tons of filmmakers in tons of communities, and we learn from each other. We're always like texting or going into groups and discussing. We watch each other's films, and so you're in a community that you're learning from each other, which is very important. I think for me, I get a lot from that.
You sound like a very curious person, which is good. Like, I'm serious. I think
I have to be a guest, right, to be successful.
I know. I honestly, like, people ask me all the time. They're like, and it's kind of an unfair question. Like, what do you think is like the key to being successful in this or that? And I'm like, well, look, like there's certain things like are obvious, like hard work and you know, all that kind of stuff. But I think curiosity.
Yes. Like And something that I've learned that I think in the beginning is as a filmmaker, sometimes you're working so hard on a film, it's very hard to show it to somebody else for criticism, right?
Man, that must be hard.
It's very hard. So in
Yeah.
the beginning, I couldn't do it. But then I've learned that it's actually amazing when you say, hey, trusted people, right? And you say, can you take a look? And people say, I like this, I don't like that. It's not always easy, but so valuable because they make it better. You don't have to follow what everybody's saying, but it's good to have a different perspective.
Yeah,
that's very rich.
You know, that's interesting too, right? It's like finding people who will be honest with you about and give you actual good feedback. And I think a lot of people, and like we've all been guilty of this at times where, you know, you ask your family member, and like they're always going to be like, "This is amazing," like, and you're like, "I don't know, like, is it?" But we get it. It's their role, it's their job to be supportive, right? And we always say that at our firm is like, you know, it's like a little cliche, but it's like, you know, feedback is a gift, right? If someone's actually willing to spend the time to try to help you be better, you know, and I feel like not doing that for somebody is almost selfish because like you're just too wrapped up in like how uncomfortable it is to tell somebody that.
Yes.
But you also have to have somebody on the other end who's willing to receive it.
Yeah. So this is something that, yes, I value a lot. It makes you better.
Yeah.
But it's you know, it can be uncomfortable.
For sure. So tell me about the book and how have you used the book, I guess, you know, in the documentary like production, like it, you know, how does it like kind of all interplay?
So I have a copy for you and Brett.
Thank you.
So this is the second edition. It's fresh from the oven. And I think this is the inspiration for my documentary. JoAnn wrote a poetry book, Love Letters to Music, and I started reading that. And you would think that would be enough for her just to be an incredible conductor, but she's a brilliant writer too, and her poetry has a lot of depth. And so I started reading the poems, and I thought I have to incorporate this in my film. So I selected a few poems that will relate to the chapters of the story I'm telling. And I had her reading some of them.
Oh, wow.
And the kind hands in a beautiful cinematic way. It's just, I can't wait for people to see that. It's just beautiful.
That's amazing.
And we'll add that, you know, in specific moments of the story. And the poems are beautiful. Truly, she's a gifted writer.
Yeah. She seems unbelievable.
In every single way. I always see her and I say, you know, you're my idol, right? Because she is. She's my idol in so many ways. She's a trailblazer. When she started, there were no women conductors. And people told her, it's not going to work. You will not. You could be a choir director, but I don't think you're going to be a conductor. And I asked her, have you considered anything else? She said, no. And she persisted, you know, she never given up, and she opened doors to so many other people that came after her.
I think she's been with them for almost 30 years now, or her new contract will take her through 30 years, right?
Exactly, yes.
That's amazing.
Unbelievable. And what she does is very different from other conductors, because it's very rare to see a music director in an orchestra to stay for that long. Okay. They don't last. People move around. It's very, very unique to have someone so embedded and so caring for our community. So she is really a gift.
I was going to say, she seems like she's also, I have to imagine that if she wanted to, she could have left Buffalo.
Oh, easily.
And gone other places, like many times over, but she's so committed to the community.
Committed to the community. And she's able to conduct in orchestras all over the world. So she has her commitment with Buffalo Philharmonic, but also she's always traveling. She's always conducting in other places as well. Yeah,
that's amazing. So I'm sure, like, you know, like everyone, she has her inspirations. I'm sure I saw pictures of her with like Leonard Bernstein and like.
I'm bringing that into the documentary.
That's awesome.
Yes, one of her mentors at Juilliard School.
Do you have any mentors or filmmakers you look to for inspiration? Because you mentioned like you talk to a lot of people. I'm curious if there's somebody who like really stands out to you, like this is somebody, whether you know them or not, but somebody you try to like maybe emulate in some ways.
There are some styles I appreciate. It's more the naturalistic ones, less produced in a way. You know, make it more that there's no lighting but you still want to make it nice, but you know. Yeah, current ones, there are a few people. There's a new generation. I really like one American Iranian filmmaker. Her name is Zaika Zetabchi. I like her style a lot. She won an Oscar for a short film called Period. I just think her style is beautiful. You can look it up and find some of her work. Recently, she did a Chef's Table episode, and I love Chef's Table. I don't know if you've seen it. It's just beautiful. So I like Ben Proudfoot. You know, it's the new generation too. But there's so many beautiful pieces out there. Truly, it's very easy to find good storytelling.
Where do you go to find good storytelling? Because I think a lot of us are just like looking on Netflix and like HBO Max. I mean, and obviously there's some amazing things on there, but like, are there other places that you go to look to like see what kind of stories are being told?
Yeah, yes. So doing research online, some films, they may not be available on Netflix,
right.
But then maybe you can pay to watch them. So I've done that. Even going to Vimeo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? Vimeo,
Vimeo's great.
The select ones. You just press play, and I've seen beautiful things. So, because those are not the commercial ones, right? This is more truly from independent filmmakers, and I value that a lot. So, sometimes when you go to the big streamers, you don't see as many indie, right? You see more produced. So you have to go to, Vimeo, YouTube, and do your research and find where you have to do a little bit more work.
Sure.
It's not that, easy, but yes, you can find.
So I know it's probably like, you don't know exactly, but do you have like a target for when you want the film to be done?
Early 2026. We started post-production now.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and it's going very well. Very well. And, but there's a lot of work. I always, I was talking to JoAnn a couple of days ago, and I said, I have over 100 hours of footage.
Oh, wow.
And I said, imagine you have to assemble a puzzle with 10,000 pieces, but those 10,000 pieces are mixed with 60,000 pieces. So you have to first, identify those 10,000. And then after you identify, you have to put them together. So it's a good, for me, it's a good representation of what I'm going through right now.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work. And
it's a lot of work. Yeah.
But I would love to hear more about post-production. Like who's involved? Like, what's the process like? How does this work?
So let me see. So I can tell you what I'm doing right now.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so we have the kind of the timeline that we want to tell, the chapters that we want to discuss, right? Maybe early career or present time or this particular. So those are things I know and I filmed. Mm-hmm. So what I have to do. So in my screen right now, there are 3 documents opened. One is the transcript of certain interviews or certain scenes, so I can see the wording. Then I have the sync where I can see when people are speaking or the scenes unfolding, and another document where I'm putting the spine.
Sure.
So I read the text, I see if it sounds good visually, and then I breaking down into my spine, and then I give it to the editor. Okay. So I go back and forth.
Oh, wow.
So I'm creating this skeleton, and then we'll fine tune later with, B-roll and transitions that will come later. But first the spine. It has to make sense.
Okay, that makes sense. So I got to imagine like you work on other projects at the same time, right? It's not, you're not
this,
just
right now I'm fully dedicated to this documentary.
At this stage of it, right? You have to be all in on it?
All in.
Right, okay.
It's a full-time work. It's a
imagine.
lot of work. There's a lot of behind the scenes, finding archives and the music and a lot of details that make it work. You communicating with tons of people. There's a lot of behind the scenes. So
you go through post-production, and do you have certain people that you'll show it to before you're like, okay, this is done? And does it ever feel weird saying it's done?
Very weird.
Like you're like, maybe I want to keep looking at it.
Yeah. You can always change it. It's like, paint, you can always add another stroke. Yeah. But so I have my trusted team, which is the Pan American Film and the Uplifter video people. They are all storytellers, so we are working together. But also I want to, when I have more of spine together. I have some people that I trust in the filmmaking community. I'll do smaller groups, and I will have them watch it and give them their 2 cents for 100%. 100%.
When you send it to JoAnn, will you be there when she watches it? I think about that. Like I would be like, like looking at her like that. Like
I'm like, I'm very nervous about that because she worked so hard her entire life. She has such a reputation, and I just want to make sure I'm doing something to honor her truly in the best way that I can. And I told her, JoAnn, this is not a biography. I'm not going to show, this chronological, everything, but I'm bringing stories about you. It's different. I'm doing more of a storytelling than a biography.
Yeah.
So to me, that was important that she knew that. But nerve-wracking because,
sure.
she's my character, know. So it's very important that she is happy with that. And I'm honoring the BPO as well and all the musicians for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I think though, I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here, but like I can just tell like how passionate you are. And no, but that's a really good thing. Like you're putting your whole heart and soul into this. And I think when someone, I'm sure, obviously she knows that.
Yes.
And she's going to love it no matter what. I mean, I'm sure she even for even someone of that stature probably feels so honored that you want to do this. I mean, and so many people, it's probably going to blow her away how many people are going to love this film.
I mean, thank you for saying this. I am very passionate. I truly love what I'm doing. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very, very. And I hope she will love it as much as I do. I love it right now. And it's not even, I'm in the beginning of post-production. I have beautiful things. I have beautiful scenes. I have beautiful people saying things. I have her saying things. It's going to be amazing. Yeah. I have no doubt about this.
That's great. And so where will it come out? How are people going to be able to see it?
Yeah, so this is one of the I would say, my challenges right now. How do we get this to as many? My goal is to have the film shown to as many people as possible, because my goal is not only to honor her, but it's to bring awareness to classical music, to make people curious about, maybe I want to buy, a ticket to see it. So I have many, many goals. So that's the million-dollar question. Should we do film festivals? Can we get this into a streamer? So this is something I'm going to be working now. But the goal is to find a way to have this film shown to as many people as possible. And I have, filmed in different locations. I went to Liverpool, I went to Hawaii, I went to New York City. So I talk about Virginia. So this film will touch different
all for this
markets.
Film.
Yes. So hopefully that will bring an interest to other locations as well as Buffalo.
So you followed her around.
I did, yeah.
Wow, I would love to hear about that. Like, what was
amazing,
she? Was it the BPO traveling, or was it her, conducting for different groups?
No, it was her. So she went to Liverpool. It was so cool because some Buffalonians came to follow her, and she was conducting music by Danny Elfman, which is he's a Hollywood composer. He's done Batman. He's he's super famous, and so it was pretty cool to be there and follow some of the Buffalonians. Hawaii, JoAnn was instrumental in saving that orchestra. Oh, wow. So I wanted to tell that story. So we followed her in Hawaii. Plus, it was so cool to be there in a different setting. It was, but the behind the scenes, her work to make orchestras relevant and accessible to the community is very inspiring. So that's why I went there. New York City, we went to her childhood home. That was amazing because, to be able to get to learn a little bit of her growing up, that's why really cool. She is who she is. Yeah. Very, very inspiring.
It sounds like, you were talking about, with your kids, like this is why you sort of even you bought those tickets for the BPO, and now all of a sudden here you are. Yeah. I'm sure you never imagined like you'd be doing this, like when you bought those first like $30 tickets to the BPO, right? That's wild how it unfolded.
Yes, it's a full circle, and that's why I'm doing the film too, because it's transformational. And one of the theories that we are working on is how transformational music truly is. If you think about it, we live in a crazy world. We are on the phones the entire time. You don't have a moment of mindfulness anymore. So now when you go to see an orchestra, to hear an orchestra, it's an opportunity for you to be in a room with 80 people. They're the best of the best. Every single person is a specialist there. And then you get to see an orchestra playing together, which is an incredible experience. You're not talking to others. If you allow yourself to experiencing that, it's very powerful, and it's an opportunity that you don't have it anymore.
Yeah, that's
Think
awesome.
about that. So it's really, yeah.
That is a really good point. I mean, there's so, few opportunities to like shut out the world these days, and you just be immersed in it for that period of time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a gift.
That's
It's
a great point.
Yeah.
I think too, like, I was thinking about this when just again, not to like, I just keep thinking about this. Like, we were talking about curiosity.
Yes.
And, if you don't go buy those tickets, you may never have done this.
Yeah.
And it's about being curious about like, exploring in life, and like whatever the new opportunity is, if it's small or big, just go check it out. You never know when something's going to lead you down a path that you never thought you'd be on. It could like change your life.
Exactly. I'm curious.
Yeah.
People say, Brenda, do you want to do this? Yes. Let's do it.
That's the attitude,
You have to be a yes person,
because
there's so much out there that you have no idea that could be wonderful, and sometimes maybe not, but you have to be curious.
So you're working on such an amazing project. And I know that I know right now this is all you're focused on, but I know there's a lot of other projects you work on for businesses, I'm sure you already, well, I shouldn't say I'm sure. Are you the type of person that when you're so immersed in something like this, you're already thinking about like the next big project, or do you just kind of like stop yourself from doing that and just stay present on the current project?
I'm so immersed in this that I cannot think about anything else. I wake up, true story. I wake up thinking about this, and I go to bed every single day. It's been 15 months. I cannot think about anything else. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it's passion.
Obsessed. It's passion.
Yep.
But I'm sure, hopefully it will be more beautiful opportunities to come. But I'm so in love with this right now. I cannot think about anything else.
Do you? And like, especially because, I mean, this is, you're in music now. Like you're exploring someone at like one of the highest levels in music.
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to take you down a path further into music? Or because we talked a lot about, I know you want to focus on like people, like on characters, like and develop stories from them. I'm just curious, like, because you've now met so many people through this and so much about it. Is this like, do you think you're going to go further down we'll call it the music rabbit hole?
I love it.
Yeah.
I will be happy to because, music is so powerful and there is so much to it. I would be happy. I do have an interest in arts and education. I could see myself. I'll be happy to do that.
Do you think there's any other like stories? Maybe I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but like stories in Buffalo that you think should be told that aren't being told?
Oh, I know for a fact, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But don't tell us because then someone's gonna steal your idea.
No.
Don't say anything.
There's everywhere you look. Everybody, it's like it sounds like a cliche, and it could be a cliche, but everybody has a story. There's always something, and there's amazing organizations and amazing people. But it's all about the people.
Right.
You have to connect to the people.
Yeah.
It's always the people. That's why I'm so passionate about it. It's not the organization. Who is behind it? Who are the people making it happen?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like we talk about this like at our firm. It's like we've grown very fast, but it's all about the human beings, like the people, and especially in this day and age where there's all this like people talking about technology and data and blah 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 blah. It's like it's the people.
Always the
like
people.
Like nothing exists without the people.
But this is how we relate to others. For the silliest thing, maybe you go to your barber. If you didn't like the barber, you would not go there.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be for the restaurant. If you don't like the servers, you're not going to go there.
Good point.
Even if it's all about people. Always it comes down to that.
Yep. You're right. How do you manage? I'm always interested to talk to like really successful people. Like how do you manage? You're a wife, a mother, documentary filmmaker. Like how do you manage all this together?
Sometimes I don't.
That's a great answer. That would be my answer.
I try my best, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, some days are busier with the kids or, you know, my husband or this work. So I don't have a complete balance, but we try, you know, I try to balance. Sometimes I'm successful.
Yeah.
Many times I'm not.
Yeah.
But my kids are teenagers now. They don't require as much attention, which is easier. But, you know, you're always balancing, you know.
I actually asked that from like a real honest place because I have, my wife and I have she'll be 13 weeks old on Friday. And so it's the first, right? She's amazing. And, but it's like, I'm always now, I never obviously was like this before because before you have kids, like you're not thinking to ask people like in your position. I'm like, damn it. Like there's so many like great people, like great mothers and fathers who are great, you know, in their professions. I wish I would have asked them even before, like, what do you think? How do you do this? But it's funny now that I'm asking people, they respond just like you. They're like, well, I don't always manage it that well. Like I'm working on it. Luckily my wife or my husband is like very understanding.
Yeah. I think the balance is positive, but like in between, you know, it's a little bit all over the place, which is fine. I mean, we are trying our best.
Yeah. That's all you can do, right?
Yes.
So now with this whole process, like have you learned more about yourself as a filmmaker going through this process? And like I'm sure you've become even better going through it. And it's like this is probably your biggest project, right?
This is my biggest project. And I think the storytelling that I'm attempting to do is complex, so it definitely sharpened my skills. But I think, which is interesting for me, besides the craft, I feel I've grown a lot as a person, big time. Because,
in what ways?
You know, it's very hard to put yourself out there. And, you know, I heard so many no's and rejections along the way all the time. There's always a problem.
Yeah.
But because I'm so passionate about it and it's not about me anymore, right? So that taught me resilience in a big way. Yeah. In a big way, and it taught me that it's okay to not get something right. It's okay to fail in certain aspects, and it doesn't mean that you are a failure. That means you keep trying and you are growing, and you can always improve. So for me, it was a huge lesson of resilience that you can do it. You know, you just keep going. You keep going. Don't give up, and then you can get to what you want.
That's powerful. I mean, like I got to imagine. Well, do you feel like you were always a resilient person, but now you've just gone to another level, or did this like actually like take you out of like? Because I think a lot of people get really comfortable and like, I don't want to take this risk. Or I'm just afraid if this doesn't work out, I'm going to look bad. Or like you're right, it is hard to put yourself out there. Would this break you out of your shell?
It did.
Yeah?
It did.
Wow, that's amazing.
It did. Big time. Growth mindset. Yeah. So that started a few years back when I read a book about that, which was Transformational. But I was always afraid of like people pleaser, or, you know, if someone says no, okay, they said, no, I'm not going to be trying. But I shifted my mindset and I thought, you know what? Growth. Yeah. If you don't get it right, you try again and you keep trying, you know? So this is what I'm doing, and I'm applying specifically on this project. And I was able to get things that in the past I would have given up. Yeah. So it's been extraordinary for me in a personal level as well.
But I think it's interesting too, tracing it back, because it sounds like you're able to push through, like whether it's fear, uncertainty, just being uncomfortable, and embrace this growth mindset, but it was like fueled by passion for something. Because if you weren't passionate about this, do you think you would have, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to, you know, you have to like what you're doing. Yeah. You have to find something that you have an interest. And then, because it's very hard to go through difficulties and obstacles when your heart is not there. Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, it helped that I'm very passionate about that. So, yeah.
It sounds like you get really energized by this. It's
100%.
Cool. You have like a lot of energy. Like, but no, in a good way. It's positive.
I do have a lot of energy.
It's positive. It's great. No, it's great.
Yeah. Now I do have a lot of energy, and hopefully it will come through this work. But I'm very, very excited. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's contagious. And,
oh, wonderful.
I know,
yeah.
Brad and I have been talking actually a while about bringing you on.
Oh,
and
nice.
so I'm really, really thankful
you
were willing to do it. Is there anything that we haven't talked about the movie, about or the documentary, I should say, or anything surrounding the BPO that you'd like to talk about or touch on?
Yes. Please, thank you for first of all, thank you for having me here.
No, thank you for being here. Yeah.
Yes, that's wonderful. What an incredible experience. I was a little bit nervous, but you made it so easy.
Oh, good.
So I recommend whoever gets an invitation,
Yeah, or listen to that.
to come here. But yes, I want people to get a ticket, go to the BPO, go see a concert. Like, be curious and see how that speaks to you. So this is one of my goals. I just want to make sure I give a big thank you to my executive producer, John Richmond. He's an unbelievable community member here that not only is supporting my work, but so many other organizations in Buffalo. And I want people, whoever is listening to this, to really go to the social media, sign up for the newsletter. When the film comes, if it's in a theater near you, come see. And I think the support of the community will be very important to us.
Yeah, for sure. And where can people find you? Where can they follow along with you? What are your social media handles? And I know your website is Special Story, but where can people follow along?
So I have a website for this documentary, and I will be adding more information. Right now is loveletterstomusic.com.
Okay.
You can see the handles for my social media, and you can sign up for my newsletter. I'm planning on giving more information and doing a little bit of behind the scenes. That will be a huge support for this project. Because I think it's not only for me, it's for the city of Buffalo, right? It's for the BPO, it's for JoAnn Falletta, it's for the power of music,
I love it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
a little nerdy.
Yeah, do it.
I mean, in my experience, music is one of, if not the most beautiful things to shoot for. The storytelling is great, but then there's the imagery that goes along with it, and to have access to the BPO and to get cameras in there. Did you have a point where you were able to get into the pit with multiple cameras and shoot all of these musicians in addition, and just to shine on your DP a little bit? And what was that like?
To me, I think when you, so as a concert goer, should I look?
You look wherever you want.
So, So as a concert goer, you go to the BPO and you see the orchestra from the perspective of the audience. Being backstage, it's so special because you're like, what happens here, So yes, I said, JoAnn, I would love to be backstage with you. I want to see what you're doing before, what happens. Can I walk in filming you as you step into the stage? And at first was like, I'm not sure, but we were able to do that. So that was very, very special. It's very complicated to put cameras when they're having a performance. So it wasn't like, go anywhere you want. We had our specific places, but we were able to have a few cameras there. In one of the concerts, we had 4.
Oh, wow.
So that was very special. But it wasn't, during concerts, you cannot be anywhere. There are some rules you have to follow.
And they're packed in there. And I think there's even, I think I've seen in some other productions, there are people off stage playing. Like for certain things, I read that someplace. Maybe it was in your
Mahler,
short.
because it was such a huge production. Yeah. They had people backstage doing that. Some musicians. But those are big. Some of them can be very big. Sometimes you have the orchestra and the chorus, and the stage is packed. So that it's hard to be in there. But for me, one of the things that I thought it was so cool, we went to Klein Hands, which is a beautiful space, right? And we did some filming more artistic with JoAnn. We brought a drone. We had her conduct. We did some artistic. It was just special to be there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I can't wait for people to watch that. It's truly beautiful cinema, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank you so much for being here. This is amazing. We really appreciate it, and maybe we can convince you to come back once the documentary comes out. Now that you know that we're creating a safe space here.
That's for sure. And thank you for having me. That has been an incredible experience. And since I have the book here, so I brought one for Brad, one for you, the Love Letters to Music. It is available on bpo.org.
Awesome.
I think it's a beautiful gift, you know?
Agreed.
It's amazing.
You'll find
yes, and then it's not signed because I'm hoping you will be able to give it to JoAnn in person so she can write something.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
JoAnn, did you hear that, JoAnn? We need you here.
So
thank you,
I got
Brenda.
the copies for you.
Honestly, it's been amazing. And again, we're looking forward to seeing the documentary, supporting you any way we can, and getting you back in here once everything goes live. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.